I don't know about you, but I get those goosebumps every time the season is near. The 49ers are officially back in town, and we're going to break it down right here on the Wayne Breezy Show.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Breezy. Had to hit you guys with a two-piece combo and an uppercut. What's going on, everybody out there? Shout out to everybody from the Breezy's Bunch. It's officially hump day, which means you got your boy Breezy to help you get over the hump. However you choose to do that, I'm here with you. We're going to rock out together. Shout out to all the Breezy Bunch members in the building. I truly appreciate you for starting the joint off right. We got the super chat, the popping, everything is popping over there in the comment section. I wanted to give everybody and show everybody some love. Peachy Brown is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Let's have a great show with the hashtag BB. Jax Knox is in the building. Good morning, Breezy and Faithful. Let's have a dynamic show on this hump day, Wednesday. Enjoy your day, family. And she also hit you with the hashtag BB. Boss is in the building. What up, Niner fam? Can't wait to see the new additions. If it isn't love, hey, why do she feel this way? Why does she? My bad. I saw new additions and I was thinking new addition. Hey, it is what it is. To finish off your joint, fight for position on this team. Welcome to Trey Block 100. Let's go. Mike Ing is in the building. 49er Jeff is in the building. Ronnie 33 is in the building. Christy Marie is in the building. I love it. Marty Mars in the building, and the Breezy's Bunch is here popping. Listen, if you're not a member of the Breezy's Bunch, all you got to do is click join. All right. Click join. And then it'll pull up some stuff, some data, some information, right? And all you got to do is pick one of those packages. And I'm sure they'll suit your needs, all right? It's a monthly thing, so make sure you go ahead and do so. Become a member of the Breezy's Bunch, all right? It has its cool perks and things like that. I promise you, you're going to love the perks, all right? So shout out to everybody that's been a member of the Breezy's Bunch, whether it's been 1 month, 5 months, 10 months. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the subscribers that are watching. If you're just a current subscriber, I truly appreciate you and your patronage and all that good stuff, man. You've been rocking out with your boy for a few years. And for those that are new to the channel, if you aren't a subscriber, all you got to do is click the subscribe button. It's super simple, super easy. You can go to youtube.tv/@TheWayneBreezy. YouTube is upgrading. You can type in @TheWayneBreezy if you guys are familiar with Twitter and how that works, and the channel will pop up as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. That's the thumbs up. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's listening to the podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any one of your favorite podcasting streaming platforms. The Wayne Breezy Show is there. Shout out to everybody that's a part of that. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating, and don't forget to leave a comment as well, all right? They like to see the interactions over there. If you're not following or subscribed on Twitter, make sure you do so. Twitter's @TheWayneBreezy, along with Instagram. My Instagram is acting funky. It's like stuck, like in a shadow ban world or something like that. Like no matter what I post, it's not being seen. Let me know if you're following me on Instagram. When I post something, if it pops up in your feed. If it doesn't pop up in your feed, I feel like I'm being shadow banned. And I got to figure out how to get out of that because I'm not sure how that even happened. I don't know why Instagram always wants to funk with me. I said funk. All right. And you can also follow on Facebook @TheWayneBreezy as well. And then there's going to be exclusive content on the Patreon, patreon.com/WayneBreezy. I wanted to put that stuff out there. You can shop. All right. We got the promo going over there. www.twben.com/shop. There's a promo code. I'll put it in the description of the show. All right, make sure you check that out. And if you want to email me, it's thewayneBreezy@gmail.com. All right, @gmail.com. We'll give a shout out to some of our sponsors a little bit later in the show. I just wanted to do a double check in. I see Eddie G's in the building, another Breezy's Bunch member. There's my man, Colin. Colin is in the building. Colin Sneddon says, welcome to Breezy's Bunch Silver. We got a new member of the Breezy's Bunch over here. Shout out to Colin. Look, that pops up. We got to give him the air horns. Carlin in the building. What's going on, baby? I got a really cool friend behind stage. He'll be joining us very shortly. We have our first super chat contribution of the show. First foghorn of the show. Lee, what's going on from across the pond, my brother? Jax Knox says, today is a good day. She's getting her Ice Cube on right now. Trey is still on the team. Jair Brown is a 49er. I'm ready for the OTAs. I'm just ready to see some 49ers, period. OTAs. And speaking of OTAs, thank you, Jax. I do appreciate that contribution. Just give you a friendly reminder. Now, before OTAs is the rookie minicamp, and you can see that there's some rookies that are being invited to the minicamp, guys that didn't get drafted and things like that. They're being invited to the rookie minicamp. So I'll make sure I keep you updated on that. And OTA, since Jax mentioned it, officially starts May 22nd. All right. And it'll end around June 8th. All right, those are going to be the OTAs, and I kind of got the schedule breakdown for the workouts. Now, I believe you can, I don't know if you'll be able to attend these in the public, but there will be press there, all right? And so if you're part of the media, I believe you'll be invited to the OTAs. But then mandatory minicamp takes off June 13th. Through June 15th, it's mandatory mini camp, all right? And so mandatory means if you on contract, your behind better be there, all right? Then the training camp will start in July. So we'll get that. When we get closer to that, I'll make sure I let you guys know what's going on. But I just wanted to give you guys some updates on the dates and things like that. All right, let's get this show started properly. All right, let's get it started properly. All right, well, we got super chat contributions coming in. I see my brother 90 Gang podcast is in the building. My man Dion is in the building. Shout out to Dion. Well, you know what? Let's do a quick super chat segment so I could get the early ones on. And then if they come in after we start the show, we'll go ahead and get to them at the end of the show. All right. So foghorn for the super chats that are here as of right now. I'll go ahead and read those. Dion says, morning, Breezy. What's going on, family? I appreciate you, my brother. Hope things are going well with you and the family out there. All right. Appreciate the super chat contribution. And my man, my little bro, I know you hit me up, nephew. I'm in basketball mode right now, but we're going to start these keyboard lessons very soon. I promise you. ATJ's in the building. He says, nice hat, fam. Looking fly. Your Niners are camp ready. Look, when a Patriots fan joins the stream and says that the Niners camp is looking ready, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you know the 49ers are doing their due diligence out there. Nia, are you going to training camp? Breezy, it depends. So I have to wait till the training camp. I need to see what the training camp schedule is and on the days they're going to be there. And if I could get out there earlier in the week, I'll be there. But during the summertime, my weekends are pretty much tied up with weddings. So if I can get there on the weekdays, I'll probably come out there for a day or two, all right, and have some fun. All right, let's get down to some fun stuff. I don't know if this is fun for those out there, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And I wasn't going to do this, but CMC, George Kittle, Sam Darnold attended game 1, Lakers versus Warriors, where the Lakers defeated the Warriors. LeBron King James just did his thing again. Now, I wasn't going to do this until I got a comment after posting my Celtics show saying, don't nobody care about the Celtics. It's all about the Warriors. You know what? My Celtics will not be disrespected. I kindly replied, I'm not going to say who it was, but if you want to know who it is, go check out that new Celtics episode that just uploaded, and then you'll see who's in the comment section. I kindly replied, both of our teams are 0-1. Let that sink in. Just going to leave it at that. Leave it at that. I'm not throwing shade. Don't leave my stream. I'm not coming at the Warrior fans, but you got beat, just like the Celtics got beat, and it's all about the rebound. It's all about the rebound. How do you rebound? And so game 2 is tonight for the Celtics, and then game 2 will be tonight, Lakers versus Warriors. But if you're a Lakers fan, I give you a round of applause. 49er Jeff says AD went off. He damn sure did. And the question is, it's almost like how James Harden went off game 1 for the Celtics. Will they continue to be consistent throughout the series? My trajectory says no, But AD gave the Lakers exactly what they needed, and unfortunately, it was too much for the Warriors. And James Harden gave the Sixers exactly what they needed, and it was too much for the Celtics game 1. So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Celtics did lose without Embiid. I think if Embiid would have played, though, Kali, Celtics would have won. Different game plan. And that's no disrespect to Embiid, but then that's going to take away from them guards. Celtics struggle against guards. They're too big. They're too long. Pause again. But you get what I'm trying to say. We have bigger wings and smaller, quicker guards just have their way with the Boston Celtics, all right? But Kittle, CMC, Sam Darnold attended game 1, Lakers versus Warriors. I thought that when 49er players attend these games, it brings good juju to the Dub City, Dub Nation, whatever you call yourselves out there. And unfortunately, it didn't help. But they were there. They had a good time. I just wanted to make mention of that just in case you didn't see them. Shout out to 95 Game 7. That's the footage that I saw. That's the footage that I posted, with them at the game. And I thought they had a damn good time. It's unfortunate, that the Warriors couldn't find a way to pull it off. Mo's Nose is in the building. What's going on, baby?
What did I hear about you saying something was big and long before?
I was talking about wings, man. I was talking about wings. I don't even know, not wangs, but wings. And so, so what I was trying to explain to everybody is that when my Boston Celtics step out on the court and they have to defend these smaller, quicker, shiftier, faster point guards, because they're just 6'7" and up, they struggle against the 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" guys because they're just quicker and faster. That's all I was trying to say. And then, fortunately, I started quoting lyrics from Beyonce's song.
Got it.
It's good to have you here, Mose, man. We could talk some 49ers football.
Listen, man, I'm glad I made it. Everything was shaping up. I was gonna be on time. The baby's fine. The missus is fine. Didn't hear a peep from work. Till 11:50, till 10:55. I said, "You got to be kidding me! Why is my phone ringing right now?"
That's how it is. That's how it is.
How it is, man.
You joined right on time because we got a couple of 49er players who had their birthdays on yesterday. Elijah Mitchell, Kerry Hyder Jr. Celebrated their birthdays on yesterday, and I just wanted to send them a happy birthday shout out. I got to save my voice for later on tonight. I got a show tonight, so I'm not going to currently sing. But if there are any birthdays out there that are watching the show live, let us know in the chat. And I promise you we'll tune up them daggone vocals. You guys come first. Shout out to Elijah Mitchell. Shout out to Kerry Hyder Jr. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Mose, this is the breaking news for today. The 49ers officially signed a quarterback, currently their 4th quarterback. So Kyle Shanahan's going to get his 3rd quarterback, which is what he wanted for camp. His name is Brandon Allen. And so I had to do my due diligence and my homework, and I have a lot. Not a lot. I don't have a lot. But I have some things we can say about Brandon Allen. No relation to Josh Allen, okay? None. And I want to make it clear that, the 49ers, they didn't get the right Allen. But they got Brandon Allen. I'm just curious to know.
Man, they did not get the right Allen.
Any positive thoughts on Brandon Allen before I go on my spiel?
He's a veteran. He's been around the game. He's been in the NFL.
He's going into his 5th
enough.
season. Yeah.
So he's seen some things. And we're not expecting him to come in and be our savior, right? We're not expecting him to come in. See this? We're not expecting Brandon Allen to come in and be our day one starter. So he's a body, he's an arm for camp. If he finds a way to make his way on the roster, that means somebody is not performing well. Because Brock is injured, it's either Trey or Sam. Somebody's not performing well if Brandon Allen finds a way to make it on the 53-man roster. But, I think he may be with us long term. That's just going to be on the practice squad as a veteran player.
I think the 49ers find a way to get him to somewhat make this roster? Because I'm hoping we go at 2 quarterbacks, but the past 3-4 years, it's been 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. And so I think he's going to find a way because the 49ers, they have to place Brock Purdy on the PUP. Like, it just makes all the perfect sense. It gives him more time to get ready. They're not rushing him back. These are all the concerns we have as content creators and fans and things like that. Like, don't rush the kid back. We got quarterbacks in the stable. The team is built and stacked. There's no reason to rush Brock back. So I'm curious to see if they put him on the PUP. What are your thoughts on that?
What's the earliest he could come back if he's on the PUP? Was that week 8?
No, I think PUP is a 4-week. It's almost like the IR, but it's if you initiate them. If you initiate the PUP before the season, it doesn't have the same rules as the IR though. You know
Gotcha.
how on IR you can bring players back a certain amount of times and then you use up all your IR spots. If you put them on the PUP, it doesn't count as an IR spot.
Yes, I mean if he's not ready to go, I agree with you 1,000%. You don't force him back under any circumstance. And honestly, if you look at our team, the past 2, maybe 3 seasons, one of the things we always talk about is how slow we start.
Correct.
And I mean, we want Kyle to kind of turn that around and start fast, finish fast. But that beginning of the season when he's trying to find his groove, find his rhythm, as long as they don't go winless, if they can find a way to get to 500, Kyle really doesn't care.
Okay.
So if Brock isn't 100% ready, put him on that PUP, give him an additional 4 weeks, see how Trey is playing, see how Sam Darnold is playing, and then reevaluate it after that 4 weeks.
Okay. And it just makes perfect sense because for me, this is Kyle Shanahan finding ways to manipulate the system. And I'm not saying he manipulated for Brock to get injured or anything, but because he is injured, there's no reason to rush him back. You already signed Sam Darnold as a free agent in the offseason. You still putting your faith in Trey Lance. And then you bring in that third camp. I know a lot of people are calling him a camp body, but I think you bring in that third active roster spot quarterback. And I'll talk about why they went veteran in a second. Let's read my man Lee's comment. Makes sense for Purdy to go on PUP. Gives him more time to recover. Also gives Lance a chance to progress, which is something we didn't talk about. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the more time Lance has to prove that, he's the starting quarterback and take this job back is only a benefit to him. He has to go out there and do it. But if we're able to put Brock Purdy on the PUP, that just gives Trey Lance more time. And that's not more time to slack off and say, I have a little bit more wiggle room. No, you don't. There's no margin for error. But you have more time to stack good days on top of good days on top of good days.
All right. And then Pocket the Cheesecake says PUP says that you're not eligible and you're ineligible till week 7. So that means they could bring you back week 8. What I was trying to say is that is correct. And then if Trey is still doing well, they could place him on the IR, which means they keep him safe, right?
Yeah.
They keep manipulating. And it depends on how injuries could kind of pile up because the IR, in my opinion, hurt the 49ers last season. I felt like they mismanaged the IR just a tad bit. They mismanaged it. When they brought back Elijah Mitchell, they could have brought back what's the defensive tackle that had gotten injured as well from Philly?
Ridgeway.
They chose to bring back Mitchell, which was the right choice. I mean, you bring back that 1-2 punch, but damn, they needed Ridgeway in that NFC Championship game, and then Elijah Mitchell didn't even suit up. So I think the Curtis Lofton piece kind of messed that up, which he is out there at their camp right now looking pretty damn good. All right, so let's finish up on Brandon Allen. So Brandon Allen, he's going into his 5th season. All right, he's a 56.7% completion percentage guy. He didn't play much last year. He played the most in 2020, where he finished that season at 63.4% with 925 yards in 2020. Now,
And that's the season that Burrow tore his
Burrow,
ACL, right?
that's the season that Burrow tore his ACL. Now, a couple of things we want to know is that they feel like, and from what I read about Brandon Allen, he's a guy that helped mentor, and get Joe Burrow up to speed, back to, I mean, Joe Burrow has his traits, but he's been kind of like a mentor. And so when you mentioned the first thing you talked about, oh, he's a veteran, right? So now you're going to get a veteran in the room with some young quarterbacks. Now, to me, Sam Darnold should be considered a veteran. I feel like isn't Sam Darnold going into year 5 as well? So it's going to be interesting, I
I
think.
believe so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Sam Darnold has more experience, but Sam Darnold was the guy. Brandon Allen wasn't the guy. He was always there to back up the guy. And so, this is going to be interesting to see how it works. Now, veteran is the key word when it comes to Brandon Allen. He finished in his career, he has 1,611 yards, 10 TDs, 6 interceptions. I did want to point that out. He's been sacked 21 times. His big throw ability, he has about 8 of them Johns, getting the ball down the field, accurate, whatever. And so he's going to be a pretty good, if I tell you what, he's better than motherfucking Josh Johnson. That I do know. Like, he's better than Josh Johnson. I mean, the stats say that he's better. And so last year he played in week 9. He went 3 for 3, no TDs. He was sacked once last year. And so he had 1 drop pass. But so that didn't account to his attempts and things like that. But I think you bring him in because you talked about veteranship. And so here's the key to veteranship. If he does get released, 9 times out of 10, he's not going to get picked up. And because of the new practice squad rules, I believe you can have 7 vets on that joint. And then I think the total was 17. I could be wrong. I forget. It changes. But I think you can have 7 vets and then 10 of those, the guys, the free agents that you have, the undrafted guys. A couple of those will probably make it, and guys you may cut that won't clear waivers, you'll bring back. And so having veterans, I think the 49ers, if I go through their roster, they'll have some veterans on there that I think will clear waivers and make it to that practice squad. Him, Brandon Allen, being one. So instead of, because people are asking the question, well, why not just go with a UDFA? Or why didn't you draft a quarterback? And so, well, why do you think, other than the fact the 49ers may not have felt that their quarterback was taken, maybe DTR was taken, why do you think they didn't draft a quarterback or sign a UDFA?
I think we saw a lot of youth at the position. Obviously, Trey, still young. Brock Purdy, still young. Now, you still have Trey, still young. Still have Brock, still young. Sam Darnold has been the guy, but he's been in so many different systems with different coaches. I think his maturity level as far as just understanding one offense and his responsibilities in one offense, you can kind of consider him still a young guy as well. At least Brandon Allen has been, in the same system for multiple years, in a system that kind of does have bits and pieces of what Kyle Shanahan wants to run. Brandon Allen's also 30 years old. So although he's going into his 5th year, he came into the league a little bit more mature age-wise. So him being 30 years old, him being potentially looked at as a vocal leader within that quarterback room as an extension of Kyle Shanahan and Brian Griese. I think that's more of what they were looking for than another young guy who is coming in, eyes are wide, the lights are bright. He's trying to learn. He's trying to figure things out, and he can't really help as far as the nuance of playing the quarterback position. So just like in a situation where, you have a big brother. A big brother can tell you the nuances about playing football or playing basketball or talking to girls because they've done it and they've experienced it, right? And a big brother can kind of have more conversations, more free, open conversations than, say, an uncle or a dad might be able to have with the little brother. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes
as an
perfect sense.
extension of Kyle and Brian Greasy, you bring in a veteran quarterback who can kind of be the big brother of the room to continue to bring along Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and that it could make sense to why they went veteran and like a Josh Allen who's been around, a journeyman, opposed to bringing in anybody else. I mean, they could have went super duper veteran and tried to get like a Ben Roethlisberger or a Phillip Rivers, but they they chose to go with they chose to go with Josh Johnson. So I think they're scrapping that. They're taking that out of their playbook. They kind of messed up there. It's unfortunate he got hurt in the NFC Championship game, but the 49ers decided to go with an older, younger vet. I guess that's how I want to say it. He's older in age, but still has youth in the league. But you're gonna get that, that maturity, like you said, like you're gonna get that from this guy, and that's why from the Bengals, content world, they were talking about how he was a help to Joe Burrow. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's kind of like how that kind of came up. Like he even you're like, how can this dude help? How can he mentor Joe Burrow? Yo, maturity, like things like that. People were asking, how can Trey Lance, when Brock Purdy says he was the first one that he named as being helped, and they were like, well, how can Trey Lance mentor Brock Purdy? It's just from the things that he's seen. It didn't matter what Brock Purdy or his experience. It could have been from an injury perspective. Trey Lance got injured. He was telling Brock Purdy how you can overcome it and handle the stuff. Hey man, I'm just gonna get into film. I'm gonna get into the books. I can't do anything else. So maybe that was the help Brock Purdy was talking about. I don't know. Brandon Allen is the fourth quarterback on the 49ers roster, all right? And I just wanted to make mention of that into the world, let y'all know. And the roster, I have at 88, Mose. I have the roster at 88. I just want to go through the depth chart that I created over here. And we got four quarterbacks: Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen. Running backs: Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Ty Davis Price, Kyle Juszczyk, Ronald Awa, and Kaylan LeBourne. All right. Wide receivers, I have 12: Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Ray McLeod, Jawan Jennings, Danny Gray, Tay Martin, Chris Conley, Daz Newsome, Tyron Johnson, Willie Snead IV, Ronnie Bell, and Shea Wyatt. Tight ends, I have 5: Kittle, Warner, Dwelly, Latu, Braden Willis. Offensive tackles: Williams, Pryor, Watson, McKivitz, Jalen Moore, Alfredo Gutierrez, and Joey Fisher, excuse me.
Oh, you saying Joel because he won an MVP?
You know what I'm saying. He got that MVP. He deserved it too, by the way. Offensive guard: Aaron Banks, Jason Poe, Spencer Burford, Nick Zakel. I can't say his first name, but his last name is Manning from Hawaii. Centers.
I heard it was pronounced as Ilm.
That's
so
dope.
ILM Ilm.
That's dope. Ilm. Centers: Jake Brindle, Feliciano, Keith Ishmael, Corey Luciano. Edge rushers: Bosa, Drake Jackson, Farrell, Hyder Jr., Austin Bryant, Alex Barrett, Robert Bill Jr., Spencer Wage. Or you can move him into tackle as well. He's a big guy. Let's see. He's one of the undrafted free agents. Defensive tackles: Hargrave, Armstead, Kinlaw, McGill, Givens, Kalia Davis. Linebackers: Warner. They stocked up on linebackers. This is what kind of like threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
We had like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6. They added FOMO. Fred Warner, Greenlaw, Burks, McCreary Ball, Flanagan Files, Curtis Robinson. They drafted Winters, Graham, undrafted free agents, Jack Coletto, Mariano Sori-Marin. Safeties: they added one in the draft: Hufanga, Gibson, Hawkins, Odom, Brown. Cornerbacks are deep too. How is it, Mose, that the cornerbacks depth matches the wide receiver depth? Oh, this is going to be interesting, bro.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh,
it's gonna be fun.
Oh, Mooney Ward, Diamo Lenore, Samuel Womack III, Ambry Thomas, Trace Willing, Quantrez Knight, Miles Hartfield, Isaiah Oliver, AJ Parker, Darrell Luter Jr., and then the undrafted free agent guys: Avery Young and Deshaun Jameson. 12 versus 12. One-on-ones are going to be lit. Kickers: Zane Gonzalez, Jake Moody, punter Mitch Wisnowski, long snapper Tabor Pepper. Bro, we deep. I got us at 88. We have 2 spots. My math might not be mathing, but I got us at 88. I'm just curious to know.
Is that including Brandon Allen?
Yes.
Okay.
That made us 88. I'm curious to know from that list a couple of things I want to do. What position group, Mose, do you feel is still the weakest?
Good question, Breezy.
Because this is we're gonna attack this 2-man free agency. We got 2 spots to fill. I'm gonna sit my whatever this is.
I love my brother Cali, but I disagree with him here as far as the edge depth. What position is the weakest? Listen. People might not like it. Quarterback.
Interesting.
Quarterback.
Okay, Felicia said, I could be wrong. She said that, I'm sorry, we could be at 89, so that means there's only 1 spot. I was close. Maybe I forgot to add a player. It's possible. Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate that. And we'll hold on to that. All right, so go back to the quarterback. So the quarterback spot, roster's at 89. I'll go ahead and adjust that.
Yeah. I mean, Brock is injured. Trey still has to earn it. All we have from Sam Darnold is what he's put on film with the Jets and the Panthers. And then Brandon Allen is just a veteran backup, big brother, veteran presence for the quarterback room. While we know Brock can play, while we believe Trey can play, Brock isn't going to be able to start the season, and we don't know what we're going to get from Trey. So until we see it, I would have to say that is the weakest position group, which is why you build your roster up like this to mask any of those deficiencies.
I like that. Hold on. There's a comment. All right, so Mosquito Killer says, nah, edge is definitely the weakest. And I like that because his thought processing is Nick Bosa, then there's a big drop. And so the same way you're hoping that the quarterbacks pan out, if something happened to Nick Bosa, God forbid, like, how are we going to continue to get those or generate those pressures from the outside? Because now the doubles that we're going to go to Nick Bosa are probably going to go to the inside where they're going to try to attack Hargrave like we watched the Eagles do. And your edges may not be able to win one-on-ones. So I get where Mosquito Killer is coming from. I get where Kali is coming from. He says, but that doesn't mean that they won't be a factor. It's just there's a big drop in talent. Whereas even I feel like this, Mose, with the quarterback situation. I feel like it doesn't matter if it's Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, or Brock Purdy. If Kyle Shanahan builds the offensive game plan around their strengths, the offense will be fine. But that's a big if. Like, asking Kyle to do that is a big if. So I get your thought process. Like, asking him to do that is a big if. You know what I mean?
And then to answer that question from Callie, I mean, I would switch Austin Bryant with Drake Jackson, but I think Drake Jackson getting more snaps and finding his rhythm, I would love to know what he did this offseason, if he linked up with Nick Bosa in any way. Adding Javon Hargrave to that defensive line with Eric Armstead, I hope and believe that Armstead is going to come in healthy. Hargrave is going to come in healthy. So that middle with Bosa on the outside, give me Drake Jackson, Cleveland Farrell, and Robert Beal. And shoot, I'll take Kerry Hyder Jr. Give me those 4 guys rotating. I think our pass rush will be fine. I don't think we need another guy to get 18. You know, there was never another J.J. Watt on the line next to him. They thought it was going to be Clowney, and he never panned out.
Okay.
I don't think we need another Nick Bosa. Like, you're not going to have 2 guys getting 18 plus on your defense. You need the one guy,
okay,
and then you need your complementary pieces. I mean, the closest team to it would be the Chargers that has Nick's brother, and then Khalil Mack. Khalil's up in age. Joey's been dealing with some injury issues as of late. So again, not a lot of teams have, what Philly has or what Philly had last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're probably would be considered the closest, with Drake Jackson improving, with Cleveland Farrell coming to a defense that's going to utilize his skill set better than the Raiders did, and with Robert Bill Jr. and the plan that we have for him, his relentless motor, his first step quickness, his speed off the edge. So I do believe in those guys. Would it be nice to bring somebody else in? Sure. You've been talking a lot, Breezy, about Yannick Ngakoue. I think he would be a great addition to the team. I think one of the things that would frustrate me about that is our young guys lose reps.
Okay. But okay. That's fair. That's fair assessment. But wouldn't that be to the expense? All right, this is the way I see it, and I could be wrong. I'm not looking for a Nick Bosa on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking for a guy that can win one-on-ones. Now, I'm not saying that Drake Jackson can't, but he's really good at the bend move. We don't know if he developed anything else in this offseason. We're hoping he did, but we know he could bend. He could get low, get under, get around. He's also good at getting them long-ass arms up. I call him Mr. Fantastic, right? That's Drake. And then you just drafted Robert Bill Jr., and I'm going with the younger guys for a reason. He's known to get to the quarterback in college off of his speed. If you utilize him just for that, that's a serious package that you can kind of implement. I feel like he could beat guys one-on-one, speed alone. His speed says so. The numbers don't lie. Now you got to bring in the rotational guys. To me, like the Cleveland Farrells, the Austin Bryants, those guys. And so Kerry Hyder Jr., in my opinion, should be number 3 on the depth chart. Because the way I got my edges, I got Bosa on one, and I got Drake Jackson starting. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yep.
And then I got Kerry Hyder back to edge for Kerry Hyder. Let this man go back to freaking edge, because when Nick Bosa was injured in 2020, that man showed up and got you 9.5 sacks and got himself a mother freaking deal. And
Right.
so that lets you know he can win one-on-ones. They won't double him. He could win one-on-ones. That's my point.
Right.
And so when you look at the quarterback situation, I do understand that that's the most important position on the roster. And I just feel like it's going to take the head coach, in my opinion, to whichever one he chooses to go with, to cater his game plan. It's time. It's time. If Trey Lance has weaknesses, then how about you don't work on them right away? How about you add some things for him to work on as he goes along? Put him in the best possible situation to win. For example, the same thing he did with Brock Purdy. Did he ask Brock Purdy to throw the ball down the field, drop back, throw the ball down the field umpteen times in a game? No.
Mm-mm.
No. He didn't, and he didn't have to, because his game plan, the way it was, is kind of built for Brock Purdy. It's quick throws, bootlegs to the right, bootlegs to the left, things like that, to where Brock Purdy's quick decision and accuracy can keep the ball and chain moving. And I'm saying, if Brock Purdy is not the guy and that's the system you have, and Trey Lance may struggle in that type of, I'm not saying he will, but I'm just saying from what we've seen, he's more of a play action, drop back quarterback, read the defense, get the ball down the field when he finds his one-on-one matchups, and throw a pretty damn accurate deep pass down the field, because they usually result in touchdowns. I think all his touchdowns are those, now that I think about it. And so when you look at Trey Lance, I see Jax put up that comment, maybe Kyle Shanahan knows what he has in Trey Lance. Here it is right here. Maybe the 49ers know what they have in Trey Lance. We just don't. Maybe that's why he's still here, in my opinion. And that's a good opinion. That's a great opinion. I think I agree with that, but I also add in the other parts, the business side of stuff as well. They weren't going to get anything for Trey Lance, so they couldn't trade him. It's just so much stuff to talk about. But all I'm saying is, if Kyle Shanahan can utilize and game plan around those quarterbacks, I think the quarterback's room would be a lot stronger as the season goes along. That's just kind of like what I think. And if we took an injury at quarterback I think we'll be okay because we seem to have the right quarterbacks to kind of fill it in. But if we took an injury at the edge, at Nick Bosa, that might be a little bit more detrimental to the team, in my opinion.
I mean, of course. I mean, he's the reigning defensive player of the year. Like 97 being on the field anywhere strikes fears in the hearts of offenses and offensive coordinators.
That's crazy.
So yes, it would be detrimental. But I think if we're looking at the defense as a whole and how the pieces are interconnected, I think we have the secondary and we have the linebackers to kind of help that pass rush along. So if in the event that something does, knocking on wood, happen to Bosa, I think we have the young guys here who are capable of getting it done. It won't be to the same clip. If Bosa gets hurt, Kerry Hyder's not getting 18 and a half. Drake Jackson's not getting 18 and a half. Robert Bill's not getting 18 and a half.
You got to put them all together.
But if the three of them can get 6 apiece, 7 apiece,
that's your 18 and a half, possibly
that's your 18 to 21. And now you're still positively affecting the pass rush. You're still allowing those linebackers to roam free and make stops. And you're still allowing the secondary to be playmakers and turn the ball over and get it back for your offense.
I like that. Pocket the Cheesecake says Yannick or Frank Clark.
Yannick.
They both would bring.
I say Yannick because Frank Clark don't like us. And I know he's looking for, he still wants to play. But I think at this point in his career, he's made enough money. He's got the Super Bowl rings. I don't think he's just going to go somewhere just to be playing. Frank don't like us. Didn't like us when he was with Seattle. Didn't like us when he was with the Chiefs. I don't think that changes. Knowing the type of player that in person Frank is, just from hearing him in interviews, I don't think Frank comes here.
Okay. All right. I mean, he didn't like us in Seattle, didn't like us in Kansas City, like you said. And it's fine. Can I throw a third guy out there, though? A veteran?
Okay, you throw a guy out there, and I'm going to throw a guy out there, too.
All right, I think I know your guy. I hope you changed up on it, but I'm sure you did. But anyway, I'm going to go with Justin Houston. And I feel like you can still get productivity from Justin. You get the veteranship in there on them young edge rushing guys. Nick Bosa, in my opinion, as much as I love Nick, he's not a mentor, bro. Like, he's not – I'm not saying he's selfish, but he's folk. Bro, listen, guys aren't invited to work out with him. Like, he's on his own thing down in Florida right now. He ain't at camp.
Well, I mean,
but
that's
I'm just
a little different because it's back home in Florida. It's with his brother. Bro. It's with his dad.
Yeah, but that's how he is. Like, people.
But Drake said during the season, like, I could go to Nick with anything and he would help me out.
He can go to Nick with anything. I want you to understand what mentors do. Mentors look at you and be like, "Lalo, bro, that ain't right. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?"
I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying
he's not going to offer the information.
He doesn't have that personality willingly. Is all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying he doesn't help players out. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, that's not Nick." No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying and you don't want him to be. That mother freaking needs to be focused on being the most dominant person in the league. Player in the league, period. That's what I want him to do. I want him to be dominant every year. Focus on your health. Focus on this. Focus on beating out these records. Focusing on making the defense better from your contributions. That's fine. He's still young. I'm not mad at him. I'm not throwing shade toward Nick Bosa. I just don't feel like he's at that point in his career where he's a mentor. Now, Justin Houston, on the other hand, is nothing but a mentor. He can come in and still give you production. And think about those younger guys. Think about your Robert Bills, your Drake Jacksons, and some of these younger guys, even the Cleveland Farrells and those guys that didn't really amount to anything from on their on the Raiders. They didn't amount to anything. They didn't do anything productive in the league. They couldn't. Just imagine bringing in him. And so, God forbid, you got a guy that could go out there and probably play on, a base, not even base downs. You could bring him on special downs or specialties. He won't cost you much, I don't think. And he has Super Bowl experience. So that's how I'm looking at it. I know people feel like I'm being harsh about Nick Bosa, but I don't think I said anything harshly. I just feel
No,
like
I think no, I think that's why I was kind of giving a little pushback because you did it kind of explain it a little bit further, and you just said just the way his personality is. He's calm, cool, and collected. He's quiet, and like I mentioned, he's not going to offer it up.
Right.
He's not going to watch you do something and be like, "Hey, little bro, do this, do that." He's not going to offer it up. If you ask him, he'll answer. And there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people who they won't offer it up. But if you ask the question, if you show me that you're willing to work on your craft, understand that there is a weakness or a deficiency, and you're looking for help in that area, I'll help you. But, there are some people who just won't offer that up, on the freebie.
It's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Like I said, Nick Bosa is focused, and whatever he does to get focused, I don't want that to mess up. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to disrupt whatever he does to get prepared for a season. Okay? You says Bosa talks without emotion, but I haven't seen anything that shows he won't help.
Yeah, that's not what he said. He clarified.
That's not what I'm saying. But when I think of mentors like myself in the game of music or even in this content creating game, I reach out to somebody and be like, hey, man, listen, you're doing a great job, but why don't you try doing such and such and such, blah, blah, blah. That's a mentor. Like, it's not like you coming to me, be like, yo, can you check my stuff? You could do that, and I offer my advice. You know what I'm saying? But a mentor is going to make sure that that person takes heed into what you're doing and make sure you stick on that narrow path. Make sure I don't know. I hope I'm saying it right, and I'm hoping I'm not offending anybody out there. And if I am, I'm sorry. You got to really dig deep into what I'm saying. It's really not that deep. I just feel like Nick Bosa is who he is, and we want him to be that. And at some point in his career, he may get to the part to where he's just gonna, I'm winding down. I didn't accomplish this. I did this. We did this. We got these rings. Let's bring in some young guys. Nick Bosa is a lead by example type of person, and that's also a leader. That's what makes him a team captain. You could look at him, you could model him, you could go to him, and he'll respond. That's still being a leader. Leader and mentor is two different things. I'll leave it
Correct.
at that.
No, you
Kevin
got it.
Brown in the building. Contribution. He says, everyone wants Yannick Ngakoue, but not keep him?
That's something that I also was kind of, because I think the most recent, everywhere he's been, it's been a part of a trade.
Could be. Baltimore,
the Vikings.
The Colts is where he finished out his free agency. Right?
So yeah, that's an interesting one because I think the Colts traded for him too.
I mean, he finished with the Colts.
Yeah,
and now
but they traded for him. Now he's a free agent. But I think the Colts traded for him. The Vikings traded for him. Who else?
Colts, Vikings,
Ravens.
He started with the Ravens.
The Raiders traded for him because he was with Jacksonville.
Yeah, yep, Raiders. Jacksonville's where he started. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. Every season has been a productive season with 9 or plus more sacks.
It has.
And that means he's not demanding the double teams, but he's winning one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
If they traded for Yannick, he would be your base down guy. It would take snaps away from Drake Jackson.
And that's the only thing that I'm worried about.
But Drake on third downs, oh my gosh. This can elevate him. See, this is what I think they want to do with Drake Jackson. They're going to teach him how to stunt. And I think when you have two bookends, and think about if you get Yannick Ngakoue, who's a bookend defensive end, right? He's a bookend defensive end. If you get Yannick Ngakoue, Mose, you don't ever have to move Armstead to the outside ever for the rest of his career. He has the ability to do it, but you can remove him on third and longs, add in or keep him or bring him in on third and longs and keep him out of some of those early rundown. I don't know. It's endless to me. I think you want to we got one spot left, according to my man David Lombardi. We got one spot left. Who's going to get that spot? Mose, I need your guy. I'm sorry. We'll get off this segment in a second.
Listen.
Don't you go away from what you had either.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it. Send some to Washington and bring Chase here. And even if you worry about his second contract, I don't think his second contract is going to be as big as we thought it would be because of the injury history and the lack of production. But you bring him back with his former teammate. Nick Bosa and Chase Young together was absolutely scary.
That could be
at
dangerous.
Ohio State. You get him in a system that benefits his skill set and what he wants to do. And one of the things, shout out to my bro Rio Robinson, one of the things that is hindering Chase from really developing is he doesn't have a bag. He does not have a plethora of pass rush moves. Rio said one of the issues is he does not have a pass rush plan. So because he doesn't have a pass rush plan and he doesn't have a bunch of moves that he can utilize, send something to Washington, bring him in, put him with Chris Kosaric, help him get that bag. So all the athleticism in the world, if he can stay healthy, he can learn a bag back with Nick Bosa, kind of rekindling that duo, and then learning from Chris Kosaric the different types of things that you can do. Even if it's for 1 year, I think that could be a benefit because I think Yannick Ngakoue or Justin Houston, they may only be around 1 year themselves.
That's a good point. I think Yannick would be a 1 year rental, but it'll be high because of his production. It'll be a high 1 year rental, maybe like a $9 million signing, probably 6 point something guaranteed with the potential to earn incentives. I like this. Edward Austin says, I do like the Chase Young talk now, but we have nothing really to offer right now. And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad he said that because here's how I see this even going down. This will be a midseason trade. They're going to see what Chase Young and Kenny stay healthy for a certain amount of games. By the trade deadline, the Niners usually go after a player that they feel could come in and add value to their run, to their push, because they're going to push at some point throughout the season. Last year it was CMC. Gave up a second-round pick. Did we give up a second and third for CMC, right? I can't remember if it was a third, but I know we gave up our second-round pick. That's why when people keep saying the 49ers didn't do well in the draft, I
think it was a 2, 3, and a 4, right?
If you right,
we didn't
have
a 4 this year.
If you right, you're right. Look, Mose knows. All I'm saying is, in the second round, the third round, and the fourth round, the 49ers drafted Christian McCaffrey. Just put it out there, leave it at that, let that sink in for some people out there that just forgot. That's where our picks went. I think they could give up 2/3 for a guy like Chase Young. They already declined his 5th-year option, which means they're not willing to pay him.
Right.
They can get 2 third-round picks. There'll be comp picks that were given up. They can give up 2 third-round picks. We gave up a 5th too. Next year is 5th. Thank you, Coach Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Coach Cruz.
2, 3, 4, and 5th. But
from next for 2024 5th. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Coach Cruz. And so all I'm saying is the Chase Young thing can actually go down if he stays healthy with the Commanders and nets you, I would say 3 sacks. Let's say he has 3 sacks by the trade deadline. If I'm the Niners, I'm on the phone, I'm making a trade, and I worry about the deal, later. Now, if he comes to a team where he knows he's going to be winning, he's going to play under Chris Kosaric, he's going to get a lot of positive influence to want to come to San Francisco, I would do that without without a doubt. Chrissy says, do I low-key dislike Bosa? No. I love Nick Bosa. I don't even know how. I don't low-key like him. We were talking about being a mentor to some of the younger players. He's still young. Some young guys just aren't in mentor mode. I feel like he's in player mode, and there's nothing wrong with being in player mode. I feel like bringing in a guy like a Justin Houston who's full mentor mode. He's played all of his football. He's a free agent right now. He has no team, no deal. I feel like if you bring in a guy like him who's won championships, he can come in here and be a mentor for the youth so that Nick Bosa can still be Nick Bosa. Like, you get what I'm that's all I was trying to say. So it's not like I'm saying he's not a mentor. He might mentor in a different way, but as far as being, he's more of a leader, right? And there's a difference between leadership and mentorship, right? Leadership, you can lead by example, you can lead by the things you say. People, it's just different. You can model. There's different ways to be a leader. To be a mentor, it takes time. It takes of your time. I don't even want Nick Bosa taken away from his own personal time. I want Nick Bosa to continue to grow. So no, I don't dislike Nick Bosa, low key, high key, middle key, no key. I love Nick Bosa. I actually love every player on this 49ers roster. I was just saying I don't even want him to be in the mentorship mode if that's going to take away from Nick Bosa being Nick Bosa. All right, so let's close up this little segment on the roster being at 89. We gave you a couple of potential free agents that we felt like we could bring in here with this one spot left. And let's get to the gist of the show. The Niners are back at practice, baby. And going through the pictures, seeing some of these younger guys. I didn't see pictures of Debo, Ayuk, Nick Bosa. Are you worried that those guys didn't show up to this voluntary session, bro?
Keyword you just mentioned is voluntary.
I didn't want to
Absolutely
say
not.
it to give it away.
Absolutely not. Those guys, we've seen what Christian McCaffrey has been doing this offseason. We know the work that Nick Bosa does in Florida. We've seen clips of Debo in the lab and working on his body and making sure he's staying fresh and, getting that agility work and that footwork in. I'm not worried in the least that those guys are not here.
What's the one thing, when you saw, when the 49ers released the photos, what's the first thing that came to mind from Mo's nose?
I think it's an opportunity for our young guys and our depth to get more reps. Because I think, at times we saw it last year's guys step up. But I think in that NFC Championship game where it was just one blow after another, we got to a point where our depth wasn't enough. So I think the thing that stands out for me in those pictures is just guys getting the reps and putting themselves in the position to be prepared no matter what this season throws, because, we can say and we can wish for, a 100% injury-free season. We know in this game that isn't possible. So having guys who are ready and who are prepared to step up when their number is called and play well, that's one of the things we, especially us as content creators, we love to talk about those guys who, when their opportunity comes, they make the most of it. They give us something to talk about as content creators, as fans. They give us something to be excited for. So that's the one thing that always sticks out to me this time of year.
Yeah, I love it, man. Hey, Peter Parker says, it was great to see Trey out there. And it was. It looked like he was out there. I wish we had actual film footage, but I'm sure that'll get released at some point, and we'll get it out there to you guys. But it was great. To me, it was great to see Sam Darnold out there as well, because I'm curious to see how this competition is going to take off. I think both quarterbacks are coming in to fight. And I don't know about you, Mose, but I got the popcorn ready, bro, and I'm all in. If I had to pick, and you know what, Mose, I want to set it up. I want to set up our content as a boxing match that we're preparing for. We need graphics of Trey Lance versus Sam Darnold. I want to do that. I really think that'd be dope. I
think those practice reports. I love the practice reports from Grant where, he says that, the things that were good, the things that weren't so good, and we can kind of set it up. Every practice is a round. Who won the round? Who got the 10? Who got the 9? Who got knocked down? Who got the TKO? I think that's something that we could definitely use and follow along. each training camp practice is a round. And then based on who we think is winning the round, that should help us determine who's going to win the starting job come September.
It's going to be interesting to watch. And here's the interesting thing. I was super excited to see these photos because it just gave me hope. B, it let me know that the season is near, right? And then C, I'm just like, yo, who gonna make the squad? like who's gonna make the squad? And the fact that you got Marcelino McCrary Ball out there,
Yo, that line was up, bro. That linebacker room, cuz. I'm sorry, bro. I'm okay. If we could talk about the linebacker room, I really do want both D Winters and Jalen Graham to make this roster.
They have to make this roster, bro.
And I love Marcelino McCrary Ball. Jalen Graham
making the roster
and D
too,
Winters gotta make the roster.
Okay, let me go back to my sheet. We got 10 of these Johns, bro. We got 10 of them.
10 what?
10 linebackers, bro.
My God.
There's 10. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, locks. Oren Burks, lock. Now we talking. Marcelino McCrary Ball, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, Curtis Robinson.
How many do we keep?
5. I know. 5, though. You got to have 5 on it. And the crazy thing is we started with 6 and brought in 4 more.
Listen,
so Flanagan Fowles and McCrary Ball, Curtis. All right, let's keep 6. Let's say we keep 6 linebackers. I know that's a lot, but that's one for every. That's a backup to every position.
So Flanagan Fowles.
So who's backing up Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and Oren Burks?
So backing up Dre Greenlaw is D Winters.
Love it.
Backing up Fred Warner is Jalen Graham.
Love it.
Backing up Oren Burks is Demetrius Flanagan Fowles.
Okay.
And I hate to do that to Marcelino, but
so you took Marcelino off over Flanagan Fowles? I think Marcelino makes it over Flanagan.
Over Flanagan Fowles?
I think so.
I was giving Fowles the nod just because he been here a little longer.
Yeah, but I'm giving McCrary Ball the nod because he's a better playmaker.
Yeah, definitely has better ball
and
skills
they both
and more speed.
And they both could play special teams. Flanagan Fowles, to me, is the special teams ace, but when you have him go into the game, he'll give you one good game, and then he falls off. Curtis Robinson, you want to circle around because they brought him in last year, but because of injuries, the question was he didn't get back on the field, but he's out there now. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think D Winters makes this squad.
I think he does too.
Jalen Graham.
I want to see him make it just because of what he brings athletically. You know, at 6'2", 225, 230 pounds. I think it's going to be a longer shot for him to make it. But we did spend a draft pick on him. I'm hoping because he fell so far in the draft, we may be able to get away with stashing him on the practice squad.
If he doesn't show out.
Yeah. If he shows out, I don't. That's tricky too. He's got to show out enough to make the roster. But if he shows out but doesn't do it enough to where he makes the roster, somebody gonna snag him.
That's my point. That's why I said if he doesn't show out, God forbid he get that 1 interception, 2 interceptions in a preseason game.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's snagged. And that's your draft pick. I think you don't want your draft picks to get snagged. Like
best case scenario. And I mean, for either one of them, because to me, Oren Burks, while he's a tackling machine, he's a special teams ace as well.
I agree.
Best case scenario for Jalen Graham or D Winters is to find a way to beat out Oren Burks, to do enough.
It's not happening.
To beat out Oren Burks.
It's not happening. Oren Burks is your Mike linebacker. If something happened to Fred Warner, he's the Mike. He's the guy that's going to play Mike. So I don't think.
I mean, no, I'm not saying beat him out to get him off the roster. I'm just saying to start, and then Oren Burks is.
See, I think
second.
Right. Okay. All right. Here's how I see it. I got Fred Warner. We'll focus just on the linebackers, and we'll do something different every week. We got a lot of battles to get into, a lot of competition. But Mo started with the linebackers, so we'll finish with the linebackers. I think it's going to be Fred Warner, and who backs him up will be Oren Burks, because those are your Mike guys. Dre Greenlaw, D. Winters. That's perfect. I think one of these guys are going to have the chance to start at the Sam, bro. Like, one of these young kids is going to
That's what I'm saying, because they got right now they have Oren at Sam.
I think
They got
he's not the
Dre
Sam, though.
They got Dre at Will, Fred at Mike, Oren at Sam.
So
Jalen Graham or D. Winters has an opportunity to take over at that Sam linebacker spot
I
to
don't
replace
think D. Winters
Aziz.
is your Sam guy, because you want your Sam guy to be the strong tackler, and you want your Will guy to be the best in coverage. I think D. Winters makes the roster.
D. Winters makes the roster and backs up Dre.
Absolutely, that's the comp.
So then Jalen Graham is gonna have to do enough to play that Sam.
He's either him or your boy DFF or one of those dudes. This is gonna be so dope. And the crazy thing is, the thing I like about Jalen Graham is he's a tweener, so he's a safety linebacker, which means he's good in coverage.
So he can cover too.
No pun intended. Ding ding.
Nah, there it is.
Ariel says Warner, Greenlaw, Burks, Ball, Winters, Graham. Ball is not a tackling guy either. He's more of a cover linebacker. But he lacks in size, but he makes plays. It's going to be interesting. Media, I didn't mean any disrespect to your boy DFF, but listen to what Kylie says. I kind of agree with him. I'm sorry. Guys, we had a great show. Mose, you're always on point with everything that you know. I appreciate you for jumping on. Any final thoughts, man, before we do the poll question and get on up out of here?
Listen, I hope that I'm able to come back next week and jump on this with you, because you kind of hurt my heart saying we was only talking about one position group, because
bro, we'd be here for 5 hours, bro. It'd be like another draft show.
Nah, I know we wouldn't talk about all the position groups, but that tight end group.
I tell you what, you pick the next position group, and when you ready, we'll do that when you're here. So you let me know when you on. You
that
could
tight
come
end
back.
Group, bro.
That tight end group. You know what? Can we talk about the tight ends before we be out?
I'm with it. All
right, let's do it. Let's talk about the tight ends. So
you say what you want to say, because I know what I'm gonna say.
All right. So I was scratching my head when we drafted Cameron Latou at that time. 3rd round pick 101. I didn't understand it. So when I don't understand something, I become a student of the game and I go and do my homework. I don't know if people out there do homework. People probably watch the show because I'm just gonna do the homework, so they ain't got to do it. So I hit up my Alabama scout. I got a scout. I got a guy, good friend of mine. When I need to know something about Alabama, that's the person that I call. Shout out to my man James White. So I hit him up. We were doing a show last night on a podcast. Matter of fact, you could check out my boy, the 150 podcast. And I didn't let him talk about Cameron Latou on the joint. But then it hit me. He said one thing, and then my mind went berserk when he said this one thing. He said Cameron Latou is a great blocking tight end in 12 personnel. So then I said to myself, oh my gosh, 12 personnel. I hope I'm not giving anything away to anybody out there. I hope nobody's a scout or whatever like that. You know what the 49ers are going to try to run this year, bro? 12 personnel. For those that don't understand personnel, Peter Parker, I know you felt it was a reach. It was a reach at the time, but then I started thinking, this dude used to be a defensive end that converted to a tight end. He converted a defensive end to a tight end. He has really soft hands, which means he catches everything. He's a red zone scoring monster. And 12 personnel, he's going to be matched up against a small, itty-bitty fucking linebacker, safety, or, God forbid, don't you put no damn nickelback on him. Kyle's going to manipulate who defends this guy. And when that happens, big plays will be made by Cameron Latou. I don't know about you, but that made me excited coming from an Alabama connoisseur who I call my scout for the Alabamians out there. I don't know if you agree, but it dawned on me. 2 tight ends, 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers. You don't even got to put a running back out there. You could put, it's just going to be, you got to put a running back out there. 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back. I'm sorry, that's 12 personnel. That's going to be crazy. Or 11 personnel.
Bro, I'm going to say this, and we can get out of here. How many tight ends you think we keep?
4.
I think
out of
we
the
keep
5.
I think we keep 4 and we dress 3 on game days.
I think Ross Dwelly makes it to the practice squad. He's at that veteranship.
He's the veteranship practice squad.
Yes, sir.
Our tight ends are George Kittle, Cam Latu, and Braden Willis.
Oh my
Braden
gosh.
Willis and Cam Latu are making this roster and are going to have more of an effect on this offense than Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly. Book it.
I know people are
Book it.
saying that Willis is a better blocker and he could be the H-back. For sure, he's a different type of weapon. That's why they were happy he was still available.
Yes.
I need you guys to understand personnel. 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receiver sets. That means you're forcing that's the personnel. Never mind 12. Let's do 11 personnel because in 12 they can still come out and base, and then Kyle has to make sure he mismatches it up. But in 3 wide receiver sets, that means that the defense has to be in what package, Mose?
They got to be in nickel or
They got to
dime.
be in a nickel. There's 3 wide receivers out there. You put a linebacker. Kyle Shanahan wants your ass to be in base on a 3 wide receiver set. And this is where Ronnie Bell comes in too. He wants you to be in base 4-3, whatever, 3-4 you run. He wants you to be in your base downs on 3 wide receiver sets. He wants a linebacker on a wide receiver. But what you're missing is if you line up off the, into the slot, you put Cameron Latu in your slot, and you have George Kittle as your end line, and he goes out for a pass. This is a match made in heaven, especially in 11 personnel. You got 3 wideouts out there doing their thing, and then it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I know I'm selling dreams and hopes and stuff like that. I just think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are up to something different.
I see so many different scenarios where all 3 of the tight ends are on the field at the same time.
That's 13 personnel, guys.
You can line all 3 tight ends up on one side. You can
Overload
put 2
one
on
side.
one side, 1 on the other side.
You didn't even mention motion yet. You didn't even mention motion.
Motion and moving guys. So you can have Latu and Kittle on the line, either on opposite sides or the same side. Braden Willis in the backfield. You can put Braden Willis at Oklahoma. He wind up outside. He lined up out wide. Like, he's no stranger to that.
And he gets open. He can get open. His
Listen.
footwork. And he's the yak tight end.
I'm those 2 position groups.
Dangerous.
I think there's one more position group that I'm excited to see. We'll talk about it later. But those 2 position groups, I think for our offense and our defense are going to be the low key additions that pay big dividends.
Dividends, bro. Big dividends, yo. Kylie asked a little Q&A. Wants to know, is Ronnie Bell similar to Jarvis Landry? That's a great comp, actually. And the reason why I like this comp, because to me, Jarvis Landry never amounted. He was never supposed to be Odell Beckham. He was never supposed to be that guy. In college, it's a different game. You spread everybody out. You always that guy. When he came to the NFL, though, he was the guy that was going to move the chains, get you first downs, and take, I would say, attention away from that number 1 guy. So he would be matched up one-on-one. Your number 1 guy is getting double teamed. That's a really good comp. Talked about it yesterday. I think on the John and Wayne show with Johnny Dell, and that somebody mentioned Jarvis Landry as being a good comp for Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell's footwork is immaculate. I mean, the kid is quick and he could get open, and I think the way they utilize him is going to be crazy. He's not a fast guy, but he knows how to find the zone, and he could beat people in man, which is weird, right? Like he could. It's his moves though. It's stutter and go.
Yep.
I'm gonna run towards you. I'm gonna go this way. Nope, going that way. You're lost that way. It's his quick feet, his shiftiness. Greg Gascon says he's slippier. Bell is slippier. Bell is slippier than Bell. Landry. Okay, I got you. And he has really good hands. And he did that again at Michigan when they were struggling at the quarterback position. So he still produced. I really do think this kid finds a way to make the roster. That's the toughest group to me, Mose, that we'll have to really sit there and go through, because technically we keep in 5 guys. They might have to keep 6. So every time we add one player to a position group, we got to take a player from a different position.
Somebody else lose it.
See what I'm saying?
Another comp I heard for Ronnie, this was funny. They said Dante Pettis with heart.
He doesn't have the speed as Dante Pettis, though. But was Dante Pettis faster and quicker, right? He was quick, too. He was shiftier.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was supposed to be.
I don't. He's the dog. He's the dog version of Dante Pettis.
Exactly.
I like that, man. Guys, listen, let's get to this poll question real quick. And it's just simple this. Like, which one of the defending drafted rookies will make the most impact year one? All right. And I'm going to end the poll. We had a really good amount of votes, too.
So which one of the rookie defenders drafted this year
will make the
most impact during their rookie season?
Correct.
Gee.
So who you going with, Mose? And then I'll read the results.
I want to go with Robert Bill Jr., but I'm actually going to say Jair Brown.
I like that you picked Jair Brown. I think you agree with 57% of everybody out there. Shout out to everybody that participated, too, as well, in the poll question. Jair Brown, Robert Bill Jr., Darrell Luter Jr. I'm going to go with Darrell Luter Jr. I think he's going to start at the nickel, and he's gonna bring a level of dogness to this.
Wait. See, we trying to go, but you done opened up a can of worms. We trying to go.
Gentlemen, thank y'all so
trying
much
to go.
for tuning in to the Wayne Breezy Show.
Because if he start at nickel, who's starting outside?
Another show. We can't give him all the goodies, man. It's my goodies. Can't give him the goodies. No, I'm just playing. Pause. Guys, we love y'all. Listen, stay up, stay fit. We'll be back. We'll be back Friday. John Chapman will be here, and we're going to have some fun. I really love everybody out there. I truly appreciate it. If you didn't like this joint, make sure you like it. Don't forget to go subscribe to Mo's Noses channel. Mo's got some stuff that's going to be coming out this week for sure. And we appreciate you guys. Stay up, stay faithful. Until the next time, we'll see y'all on Friday. Peace out.